Our correspondent Caroline Davies.
Caroline Davies reporting there.
Caroline Davies has this report.
We are still in the midst of a pandemic. Crowds upon crowds of people have arrived here in Parliament Square, the vast majority of them wearing masks. There was a lone attacker armed with a knife who then shouted unintelligible words and then came towards them. Each of those three men was stabbed once and died. For now, Nazanin remains in a prison cell in Iran with no certainty about when or if she might be released again.
OK, Caroline, thank you. Caroline Davies there.
Caroline, good to see you this morning. What will happen once that plane lands to the passengers who are on board?
Well, we're anticipating that the plane should land around 1 o'clock. Now, in terms of the number of people on there, we had been told by the Foreign Office it'll be around 150 British nationals and around 50 EU nationals. That figure is in fact much lower. It is 83 British nationals and 27 foreign nationals.
Police have made 2 arrests but say they are keeping an open mind as to the motive of the crime. Caroline Davies reports.
Today, forensic officers have been conducting a search of the entire street, including the house where Kelly Mary was found, trying to find anything to inform their investigation. Amongst the firefighters at the base of the tower was Andy Rowe. Now, he's the new commissioner of the London Fire Brigade. You can understand that anyone who is a Grenfell survivor or lost loved ones in the fire, hearing you say stay put is still the best advice, will be infuriated, because that was the advice their loved ones were given on the night, and for many people that was the reason they died.
You're completely right, and we've lost the trust of those people.
It's almost 48 hours after the attack and London Bridge is still closed off, almost frozen, with buses, cars, lorries still in the same positions that they were in at 2 o'clock on Friday. Lowered in with a crane in the middle of the night. The protesters sitting inside the boxes have said they have enough provisions to stay for a week. We were able to speak to one, Paul, on his mobile from inside. I mean, realistically, you can't expect that BP are going to close down because you closed their offices for a few days. So what would you really like to see that would come out of this protest?
Well, that's true. I think BP are really swimming against the stream.
Today, we're in Vienna, a city with around 100 years of social housing. Caroline Davies has this report.
So this is Alt Erla, and it was built 40 years ago. And the builders who built it said that the idea was to make luxury that was affordable to everyone. The complex has a model aeroplane club, tennis courts, a musical theatre club, its own church, indoor pools and 6 rooftop outdoor pools with saunas. This street used to be known as Harrow Alley. And there was a line of butcher's shops along here, and behind that a slaughterhouse. And presumably because of that, and because of the blood and entrails that would have ended up washing on the streets, it was known as Blood Alley. And this pub, the Still and Star, and its proximity to that slaughterhouse has led some people to speculate that it could have had a particularly infamous regular.
Jack the Ripper.
Some parents had an unexpected day to look after their children, and maybe a few others. How excited the kids been today?
They're very excited, yeah. Yeah, they're very... Hello. Yeah, they love snow.
'Tis the season to be jolly, but that's not always the emotion associated with the general election.
I haven't got the energy to even waste thinking about what someone's going to say on camera, because when they go home they don't care either.
But there is some Christmas cheer to be had. New Addington is right on the edge of Croydon Central's constituency. It was a huge housing estate that was finished at the end of the Second World War. And this is their annual Christmas light switch on. With 1 week left until the election, candidates and voters are in the final countdown.
3, 2, 1. Yes!
Caroline Davies, BBC London.